Another snippet of life here at the homestead. And I'm going to render lard. Most people do not do this. We get a whole pig. This is how we get the lard. This is called the leaf lard. This is the kidney in here, and I'm going to cut that out, feed that to dogs. And this is some back fat. You'll see this is the skin. It's 3 pieces of that, and I will just cook this down, and then I actually keep heating it, and the dogs will eat that. This is a piece of the fat that's wrapped around the kidneys. This is called the leaf lard. I just cut this kidney out, and I feed that to the dogs. I did try to eat it once. I couldn't do it. So we're rendering lard today. Here is the kidney. I just sliced it up, and we feed this to the dogs raw. And I can't eat it, but you'll see the dogs. Here's Homie. He's over here watching me. He loves it. I'll give some to the little guy too, but dogs love raw meat. Homie's waiting for more. I got some little pieces here for the little guy. Little guy, you want some kidney? He's like, yeah, I'll eat it. I'll eat it here. He won't eat it out of your hand. He's weird. See, he eats it right up. He loves it. The leaf lard, I cut the kidney out. The leaf lard is more desirable. It's supposed to have a cleaner, less pork bacon taste to it. And most people would render this separately. But I'm not that finicky, and I don't use it for baking or pie crust or anything. So I just put it all together in one pan. And you'll see how it comes out. It works out nicely. I'm just showing you the lard here after it's been in the oven for a little bit. I lift up the pieces and I cut the fat off of the skin. And then this is going to melt down. I just cut it up in smaller pieces as I go. These will crisp up that I feed to the dogs, called cracklings. So you can see I just cut this off. And the skin stays behind, which, you know, is pretty hard. I know some people eat it. I just find it really, really hard. The dogs barely even chew it, but this just comes right off. And I just keep checking it. This has already been in the oven for a couple hours. And this will just continue to melt away. This is that leaf lard. You can see it has a hard outer skin, and the fat just starts to dissolve. If you hear a dog, that's Homer, because he smells this and he's frustrated. He wants to get over here. So we just continue this until all of the fat is rendered and it's all liquid. There will be some crunchy pieces left out, but we will sift those out. The lard has been in the oven for about 6 hours. So you can see that more of the fat is coming off of the skin. And I just continue to do that until I have essentially just the skin left. There will be some of this around the edge that just kind of stays on there. So I had 3 pieces of skin in there, and most of the fat is already off of it. A little bit more on there, and I just continue to scrape it down. Move it around so that the fat solids are in the rendered oil, and it will just continue to melt. And sometimes I just squeeze it out also. Show you what it looks like. It looks kind of gross, but once it's all said and done, and I put it through a strainer and into jars, it just looks like a beautiful, beautiful solid fat to use for all kinds of things. And like I said, the dogs will eat this. I'll continue to crisp this up after I take it out of the oil, and that'll be doggy treats. Most of the fat has been rendered out, and I have all as much as I could, the solid pieces up on racks, and I just let that drain, let the pan cool off before I can pour it into the jars. So you can see it's pretty stiff. It's pretty stiff, but I will put this back in the oven after I drain this pan, dry it a little further, and then break it up into chunks for the dogs. And I have my area over here that I'm ready to do the jars here. I don't think it's going to take that many jars, but that's the area. This is the last step of the lard. I have the jars set up. It doesn't usually take as many jars as I think, but I'm just going to start off with this one. I use this ball jar, a sieve container. It's a funnel. And then I put this fine mesh strainer in that, and then I just start pouring in. And I want to fill the jars up all the way to the top. You want as little air in there as possible. It keeps it, less air is better. You want to reduce oxidation. And the whining that you hear is my dog Homer, because he's paralyzed and he's always frustrated because he cannot, oh, that doesn't fit in that one, cannot get to where he wants to go. So I just strain out all the globs. It does make a big mess, so that's why I have the newspaper down. And you just continue to fill them all up right to the top. Put lids on, and I store them in the refrigerator because I have extra refrigerator for storage of other food items. Sorry for Homer's whining. And that's it. And then I just jar this up to store for frying. I have everything jarred up. I have the lids on. Those are going to be going into the refrigerator. I have a ramekin here, and my husband will use that for eggs in the morning. Usually it's filled with bacon fat. Now it's filled with lard. He'll use that for his eggs. Now all of the solids I put back into that roasting pan, and I will put that in the oven a little bit warmer so that all those get crispy and dry, and then I'll bag them up in small pieces, put them in the freezer, and then they become doggy treats. I just want to show an example of using the lard. Now I'm making a roast chicken. I'm doing roasted potatoes. So since it's still room temperature, I'm just coating them with lard. I am adding fresh rosemary that I just chopped from my rosemary plant. And adding salt and pepper. And that's still my dog whining. And then I will toss these, and I'm going to put them, bring over here because I'm putting the roast chicken in the cast iron. And I'm just going to use, this has something else on it. So I just toss this up so they're nicely coated with the fat. These are, I think I have a russet and a Yukon Gold mixed together in here. I just took what was in my bin. So that's it. You just want to toss them so they're nicely coated. And I'm using a cast iron skillet, and I will just put I've already salted the chicken, and I just put the potatoes around the perimeter here, and they will, they get a little smaller once they start cooking. So I will just mix them in, but they'll take about the same amount of time as the chicken, and that's it. Just keeping it simple. Here are the cracklings left over from the lard that I rendered, and I let this sit in the oven kind of overnight, but you can see how hard this is. And these got much crispier, and I'll just take them away from the, drain them off of this extra rendered lard down here. I'll break these up, and then I'll just put these in a jar and dish them out to the doggies. I broke the hard skins up in a bag with the hammer, and you'll see how crunchy they are.
You're gonna sit nice. Call her Jaws. I love him. And even the little guy. I give him little pieces. He doesn't have any teeth. Are you looking for more? Okay, let's see what we got. I don't give him too much because it's pretty rich. You gotta swallow that one, little dog. Sit. Sit. Oh, did you see that? Jaws. They love it. Yum yums.